Could have been a whole series. There could have been a whole series, I said to the guy, holy hell, eh? How many freaking Donair sauces? So it's a pretty good day. We got Donairs. What's this? One of those THC drinks. I met Tim Dagnall, owner of Bud's Pot Shop. That's one of the pot shops in my local area. So he delivered himself today. Usually doesn't. Oh, I got a new Ruger case for my place. But it happened that I had ordered something from Bud's. But besides Bud's, I also got this Pizza Delight. And look at this. Another gosh dang. And I have that tattoo machine. Because I'm going to be tattooing. I got to fix my own tattoo because nobody can do it right. I got these Donairs. So that'll be fun to do that. I'm going to do it once I get into the proper shape and form. Pizza Delight. Feels good to be free. I've been free for a while, but now I'm back on top. You know, I had lost a lot of money when I had to do my self-defense case. Cost around $30,000 to $40,000 or more losses when it came to how much I had to pay to make everything happen the way I had to have it happen. And finally, I have money again where I can have some Donairs and the handgun case and some other things. So I feel pretty good. I got the THC beverage. We're going to try that. I don't know why so much Donair sauce. I asked for only 2. Learned a lot from the court experience, but at the same time, just can't believe how I got robbed so bad. But it's taught me the procedure. Just from being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I wasn't at Cam's or Phil's apartment. We got that wrong. He wasn't at Cam's or Phil's. I had rented a new apartment some months prior. I had been in a new apartment for months. No, you can't just run up to your old tenant that's already moved out of your place because you accepted $4,000 and told me to move to a new place, and I did. Next thing you know, 3 months later, here comes Phil and Cam attacking me for something I had no involvement in. Cam couldn't even screw in a light bulb when I met him. I gave him first and last. I can't believe I gave this idiot first and last. I put him in power. Because I trusted him. He ended up being a good investment. On both sides of the fence. They let me be their investment. So I ended up at the good end of the stick. Compared to some. Met a lot of them. Thompsons are a big family. I like the Thompsons. I've seen enough Cam and I've seen enough Phil. I like Linda, but I want to see more of the Ashley Thompson is who we wanted to see more of. But that was the big goal was Ashley Thompson. She was the big goal. When I seen that girl, she was the big goal. She remains to be one of the big goals. The thing with Phil was, you know, I wanted to beat Phil. I could have had Ashley Thompson. She came to see me way back, but my tattoos, they weren't perfect. I just couldn't pull it off. I felt like it would have been so disrespectful at the time to try to pick up Ashley and all that or something like that, because it wouldn't have been good, because Thompsons are way above that. She happens to be one. And she looks a lot like Phil to a certain extent. But I had to leave Phil with what he left with, because he kept breaking into the apartment and scaring me. And the night before, it was the exact night before he had gotten pepper sprayed, they home invaded me. And we're doing some sexual stuff and put my life right in danger. I said right then, I said, you crossed the line. I said, if I was in Tennessee right now, I would have been shooting. And I said, it's all got to change here in Canada. That was 7 years ago. The website Gunpost has been around for 4 years now. So when I got home invaded and I almost lost my life, it's all changed now. That was 7 years ago. Gunpost is new. That's been around for 4 years. The community's starting to change. Now I'm a gun owner I never used to be. A lot's changed in the last 7 years or 8 years since the Phil Thompson self-defense and the rest of it. A lot of people are, when you get to be an older age, especially after what happened with Thompson and how much jail and courts and how I was treated, like I was the scum of the earth, even though I didn't do anything wrong. Somebody attacked me. And I got treated like scum of the earth all the way up to this point. Like scum. And I just sat there and said, you don't know the real story. And it didn't affect me. But it did affect me to be treated like scum or whatever. Even though I knew deep down I wasn't scum. And but now now I get here to this point, I feel so rewarded with my good behavior. I have all more tattoos than I used to have. I'm eating good. He's a handgun owner. Everything's going good for me, excuse me. So everything's been good, but we don't want to see what happened ever again. With how Phil was chasing his old tenants and running the whole mafia ring. But that's a town I don't think I'll ever go back to. It was, I don't know. It was a town that was Thompson. It was a Thompson's town, and it's just a funny situation. Taught me a lot. Don't rent from guys like Phil when you are your own guy. Not every place is like that. Teeswater's not everywhere in the world and all that. I never met that Phil guy a day in my life. Until I went to Teeswater. He's like this big hungry bear. And he's very convincing that lives out there in Teeswater. I'm sure they hop in their truck and go other places too. They've even all the way been down to Panama. They didn't know I've been to the Bahamas on a big cruise. I used to live in Florida for 7 years. I also am a gun owner. But Phil did a lot of teaching. In the United States, we never really told people we were gun owners. It was like, hey, he taught me a whole different way. He taught me how he wanted to do it in Canada, how it's supposed to be done in Canada. He's the elder. is how I see it now. He's the elder guy, and he's got his PAO and all that, and he's been around for, it's higher than a PAO with him. They say he's RCMP, that Phil. And Cam. I'd say Cam's junior RCMP, but. And then Andrew's definitely junior RCMP. We got Phil. And Linda. I wonder if he's still eating that hometown pizza. You know, the similar thing happened. This is a big time story. I might as well say it. A similar thing happened to my dad and his wife, Nikki. Way back in the day, about 15 or so years ago, over in Linden, Tennessee. My dad, he wanted to build this biker bar, and he told everyone he wanted to call it this Hogs and Hills Billy's. People were all for it, and he created it. But after a certain time, he couldn't keep up with it. They had to sell it. And of course, he probably every once in a while is going to miss it. And the same thing happened for Wayne and Julie. They were acting like my dad and mom or whatever. Even though they weren't. They were my landlords. And Phil was the grand godfather or whatever. And, but I don't even know them. So all I did was try to get out of there. But you know what happened was they kept trying to rob me and all that. At gunpoint and all that. Wayne tried robbing me, tried to get me to give me his rent in cash instead of my usual Interact transfers. Some weird stuff was going on around certain times, and I just got this uneasy feeling. I said, hey, my life ain't worth it. I said, I've been other places. Like I said, I have only been to Teeswater for 6 months of my 29 years of living. I was there from May 2017 until November 2017 or something like that. That Donair sauce getting everywhere. Got another Donair. I got to even go to that fair, and it was a big one. There was a famous band there, performed on the stage. I was drinking Budweisers, had lots of friends. A lot of them I considered family before the Phil incident. Everybody loved each other. Unfortunately, my landlords, who I was paying $1,100 a month, which was good money. I mean, the bank just kept telling him it's good money. This guy's good. He's what he says he is. He's a video pioneer. He does as best he can. He's paying the rent. But there just wasn't no down-home love for me. It was down-home everyone else but me. So I said, you know what? I said, I'm losing out big time here. We're talking business. I said, and then the handguns started coming out and shit. I never said nothing. No, I was quiet as a mouse, and I was playing my music and all that. But the handguns started to come out, and the shepherds, and the blah, blah. And, well, at first, you know what I thought to call it was, this is the type of town they do the big witch hunts at. So I already knew. I came from a small town. But, boy, they knew that, because they knew that. They knew every freaking nook and cranny of my stories or whatever. They had been talking, asking around. They knew history in Tennessee before I'd even said anything about Tennessee. They were already on everything. They were all over me. Mm-hmm. This town was nothing like Linden. I thought Linden was a small town, but after I lived in this town, Linden's like a little city down there in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. A little white people city. And A lot of them be getting married and all that. And then some of them go to Memphis. If the girls don't make it in Linden, they either go to Memphis or they go to Nashville. If they're going to Nashville, they're going to college and all that. They're going to Memphis, they're walking the street and all that. Or stripping. I've seen it happen. If I would have knew what I know now, same with the girls, they didn't know how serious the money was. That's when everyone was starting to realize money and what it was, or the sex or whatever. I don't know. The girls get money for the sex. You got a lot of rich people in them. Rich boys in Linden. With the trucks, the daddies. Mostly they're daddies. Mm-hmm. We have some good daddies on Linden. And Cape Coral, they have some good daddies. They got daddies all over the U.S. I'm not gonna go up. Too much goddamn Donairs salt. Holy fuck. I never went to B&H Dairy Bar. I only went to Sonic. And the Mexican restaurant. In Teeswater, I went to Boomers. I tried to go to Laney's. But Laney's wasn't open. When I had originally went to Teeswater, when I had sunk the money, or whatever, on the Google, there was grocery store and all that. So I move in, and I got some expensive assets. Computer, PlayStation 4, whatever. This is back in the PS4 days. Like, it wasn't working good. Nothing. That's how the adults treat us. Maybe your boss or whatever. Hey, if you ain't my boss, when I move out, you ain't my goddamn landlord no matter either. It's only a certain period of time, eh? Just like the landlord wants to sit there. Hey, I don't want to rent from a landlord that complains all the time. I want a landlord that's nice and we're having a good future together. If I see there's some kind of dispute or some kind of thing with the landlord, I don't want him. Just like, and that's what the court said. They said it goes back and forth. You don't want them in there, then you're going to lose out money, and in the future, you're going to be sad. Could have been years of rent. $20,000, $10,000, $30,000, $40,000 would have been up. But he wanted to run around and say, oh, we're multi-millionaires. But they really weren't, and they're just shooting people. Anytime you get near them, boom, 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 they're shooting. They shot the cops when I was there. They shot one of the female officers. They're all weird sexual gang. They have a prostitution ring where they say, oh, if you don't charge me, I'll let you have sex with Ashley and all that. Mm-hmm. I got to see all that close up in person when I went to Teeswater. Their big mafia, the Teeswater Mafia.